this video is for our kindergarten through 4th grade team for October week 3. All month long, we're learning the virtue of integrity, choosing to be truthful in whatever you say and do. And hello, our memory verse for the month is, anyone who lives without blame walks safely, but anyone who takes the crooked path will get caught. Proverbs 10:9. So this week we are heading to, I think, the best example of integrity possibly in the Bible. And we look at the book of Daniel. When Daniel and his friends were captured by Babylonian officials, no one would have known or possibly cared if they continued following God's laws while they were in captivity. However, in their hearts, Daniel and his friends knew what was right. They decided to stay true to their faith by asking not to eat the king's food, and God rewarded them for it. So the king offered Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and Daniel the finest food from his table, and they knew that it wasn't what the Torah, what the Bible commanded them to eat, so they said no, and they ate only God's food, and they ended up being rewarded. So our bottom line, do what's right wherever you are. It's one thing to make the wise choice when you're with people who are in charge, like a teacher, coach, or parent, but a kid might start to wonder if they need to make the wise choice when they're just with their friends, away at camp, or even by themselves. We hope that this week will remind kids why it's important to make the wise choice wherever they might be. And next week we continue in Daniel with another great story of integrity from the book of Daniel, which I think is a great book for showing integrity. So this week, doing what's right wherever you are. What a great lesson for our kids to learn. So jumping into our leader guides for the week, we'd love for you to be in your room by 8:20 and 10:20, just so that directors can know that you're here, that you're ready to go, and that you can make sure that you've got everything ready to go. Then just make sure you've got your name tag printed, everything's here. Kiddos will start to check in at 8:30 and 10:30. They can come in. Their coloring page for this week is actually just a bunch of tic-tac-toe boards. Also, you can remind them that on this back side is some devotionals that they can do throughout the week. Or they can play with toys as they come in. Just kind of use that time to get to know your kids, learn about their week, maybe ask them what they're being for Halloween or if they have a joke yet, stuff like that. Then when service starts at 8:45 and 10:45, you can ask kids some of these would you rather questions. I also have a sheet on your cart that's going to be right behind your leader guide, right here. And it has a bunch more would you rather questions, so you can ask those as well. Then, if you have time, you can do this page that's also behind your leader guide called Good Foods and Bad Foods, and you can just have kids brainstorm good foods for their body and bad foods for their body, even though those foods probably taste a lot yummier. And you're going to close by saying something like, we have choices to make every day about what kind of food we're going to eat. Some food is super good for us, makes our bodies feel great. Some food just tastes good in the moment, but it isn't good for our bodies in the long run. So we're going to go to large group and hear a story about someone and their food choices. So then at 8:55 and 10:55, you'll head across the hall to large group. When you get back, you can pass out snack, and while kids are sitting down eating their snack, make sure that you introduce yourself to them, that they know your name. Ask for any prayer requests for kids. And then ask kids to think of one place they're going to go this week. Could be school, could be their grandparents' house, could be soccer, hockey, dance, gymnastics, a friend's house, any of those things. Have them lock it in their brain. And then you're going to say, today we talked about how God will help you do what's right wherever you are. It might be easy to do what's right at church or when you're surrounded by friends who are also trying to live with integrity, but it might be really hard to do what's right when you're hanging out with a certain group of kids who don't know about following and trusting Jesus. No matter where you go, no matter who you're with, God is with you, and He's helping you to make the wise choices. So today we're going to pray, and when I pause, you're going to say the place that you thought of out loud. And then you can close with this prayer, and there's a little space in there where they pause to say the place they were thinking of. Then for their memory verse, show kids how to look up the book of Proverbs in their Bible and chapter 10, verse 9. You can practice the memory verse a few times with motions. And then I just have one set of these per room. So you can lay these out. So these are the pieces of the memory verse, all on these big kind of lily pad things. You can lay them out somewhere in the room and maybe just have groups take turns jumping through them. So you're going to have kids take turns hopping from one word or phrase to the next as the rest of the kids who aren't jumping say the words out loud. And you're going to let every kid go through the course and jump as you say it. So you could put it in a straight line first and talk about how it's easy to jump in a straight line. And then the second time you could have them go through again and have it go in a curvy line, however you would like. And then you can talk about how the curvy line was easier. You had to go from one side to the other side. And this verse reminds us that when we choose integrity, we're walking along a straight path. But when we don't, it's like getting stuck on this crooked path with lots of scary twists and turns. Thankfully, God will help it so you have the courage to live with integrity and do what's right wherever you are. And then finally, for our review activity, first what you're going to do is you're going to gather kids together and you're going to show them all of these pictures of today's story. And you're going to see if they can put the pictures in the right order. So you've got Daniel and his friends here. You've got a recipe for soup. You've got this big fancy dinner. You've got a microscope on them, the king's castle. Daniel maybe with the king. The friends are thinking about fruits and veggies. Here, someone kind of looks perplexed. So see if the kids can put them into any kind of correct order. And then once they've done that, and maybe you can kind of help, you're going to hold the pictures up one at a time and show them the phrase on the back and see if kids can help you fill in the blank. So for card 1, Daniel was being taken from his home city to the city of Babylon. So you're going to see if they can fill in that blank without you telling them. Then goes through all 8 cards here. So you can kind of use these. You can obviously use the phrases on the back to know what order the cards go in. And then I'm not going to read this whole big closing, but basically you're just going to close it down by saying it's a great summary of our story. No one would have known if Daniel and his friends were following God when they were being taken, but they showed integrity to follow God no matter what. And maybe you can share a time when you knew that something wasn't right. Your parents were away. You were at a friend's house. What did you do? Did you show integrity or not? And just talking about how even when we're going to always have a chance to do something that we know isn't right. There's always going to be a chance that we could get away with something, but we want to do what's right wherever we are, just like Daniel did. And then some bonus questions. Even if you were guaranteed that you couldn't get caught in a lie, why would it still be important to choose to be truthful? Name 2 things you need to remember when you're tempted to make an unwise choice. And if you could create a bumper sticker about something you've learned this month about integrity, what would it say? So that's our story for this week. I think it's a great story of integrity. I wish I had this lesson ingrained in me when I was younger, and I am so excited for my kids to learn it. Thank you guys for serving and being here and leading this next generation. I am so, so grateful for each and every one of you, and I'll see you on Sunday.